Hey everybody, this is Chris, and today we are going to do, just for my channel, a introduction of the Zino 2 and basically kind of my first impressions on it. So this is the quad we've all been waiting for from Hubsan, and unfortunately people are still waiting. Guys, it's early on in the release here, so this is all to be expected. The biggest thing that hit us was the Chinese New Year. We all know China shuts down for a few weeks at Chinese New Year, so that really puts a little wrinkle into your delivery. And there's so many rumors going on that they have no stock. People aren't going to get their Xenos for several months, and I just want to urge you to not pay attention to any of that. Just be patient. These things take time. The FIMI X8 SE, I waited 5 months for that quad. I got it at pre-sale, waited 5 months. The Skydio 2 sitting right over here, waited like 3-4 months for that one. I got in on the first day on that one. The way that they released it and shipped it made no sense whatsoever, because people that ordered later than me got theirs, but I wasn't in a tiffy just because I did not get my Skydio yet. So same goes for the Zino 2. You know, it sucks that you're waiting for it. You've gotten that email that says it's going to be a delay. They have the Chinese New Year. I think some of them even said they have no stock, and that's not true. That's a computer generated email. It's kind of for all products, except they've added in the little details of like Chinese New Year and such. So don't even panic or worry. You're not going to get ripped off. Nobody's taking your money. Feel free to cancel if you don't want to wait for it. Hopefully what I show you here today in this video is going to show you that you don't want to cancel your order. So I don't know, because I have taken it out of the box. I have taken a look at just the quad, but I haven't done anything like flying or anything like that with it. But so far, I think I'm going to be impressed, and I think you will be too. So just to show you, here's the box, the Hubsan Zino 2. And I also want to ask, please keep it out of the comments that you have not received yours yet. You've got the letter. I am totally aware of that, and I am sympathetic. Only reason I have mine is I've received it straight from Hubsan. I did not get it from GearBest. Hubsan sent it directly to me. So I'm going to do an upcoming video explaining the contract that Hubsan had with GearBest, and what was shipped, what was promised, and what was shipped, and what's to be shipped, to hopefully give you guys a better understanding and peace of mind that hopefully after this Chinese New Year, shipping is going to resume, and orders are going to be filled. So the ones that have been received, it took no time at all to receive. They used DHL for several, FedEx, and they chose the fast shipping method. I don't know if these people paid for those methods, but they got them pretty quickly. So I would not worry about it, and don't listen to all the rumors and all that you're not going to see your Zino 2 for months to come. Even if you have to wait a month to 2 months, it's a new product, and that's just what happens. So this Chinese New Year really kind of messed us up on this one. So I am fully aware of it. I just want to say, you know, I don't want it in the comments that every comment says, have not received mine yet. I'm aware. So, and I am sympathetic. I'm a little uncomfortable making this video, and if you're in my Facebook group or you're a friend of mine on Facebook, you know that I'm uncomfortable doing this video, partly because of the reason that so many do not have their Xenos. I don't care to be the first person doing this or that with the Zino 2. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. And here's the case that you get with it. I've got the case with 2 batteries. So this is what I call the lunchbox case. I'm not a fan of this case at all, and I never use these cases. I don't like have to dig and look and hunt for my stuff. I like to have a case and open up and everything is laid out right there. So this case will be used until Drone Pit Stop makes one, because I really like their cases. So once Drone Pit Stop makes a case for this, I will buy that. So inside the case, of course, we have the Hubsan Zino. I've already taken the cardboard off of the cardboard prop holders off. I'm just going to set it down. And we get a quick start guide. Oh, no. We get a user manual. I think this is the first time we've seen a user manual from Hubsan in a long time. Yes, it is indeed a legitimate manual. It's not a short little starter guide. So there's your user manual. A little piece of foam. And we get a spare battery. And we get full set of props, A and B props and a screwdriver and extra screws. They look to be the exact same props that we're used to on the Zino, just by looks. I'm not sure. Have not confirmed that. And then our cables. The cables have not changed. They don't look like they have changed at all. In fact, they still have these little ears on them. See these little ears right here, or nubs? Cut them off. That's what I do. A member in my group showed, for so many people that were having a USB disconnect, if you cut that off there and there, nice and flush, it plugs in better and you have full connection, and that solved a problem for so many people. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, is I'm going to cut those off. So there's your 3 cables for your Lightning, micro USB, and USB-C. So that's those 3. And then the battery charger. The battery charger has this piece right here that connects to the battery, and then your battery charger plugs into it like that. And I got a European plug. It figures. Well, I have an adapter, so I'll be using my own adapter. They did not send me an adapter. Come on, that's ridiculous. You know I'm in the USA. Send me the correct plug. Definitely not an adapter in here. So I'll be using my own adapter, which is fine, but if you don't have one, this is something you hate to see happen, because you're going to want to charge this baby up and use it, and you're not going to be able to. So more to come with all of this in more detail in the future. This is just a first look on my channel. Put all this aside. The battery itself is a 4-cell, not a 3-cell. It's a 3800 milliamp hour, 15.2 volt, and like I said, it is a 4-cell, not a 3-cell like the original. And then you also have your light indicator here, your meter, and you simply press the battery twice and it powers up. Let's see if it acts like a smart battery. So far it has the impressions of a smart battery. So it powers up 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it shows you how many cells, or how many volt, how far you are on your voltage, which is about a 50% battery right there probably, since it has not been charged. So it's got the characteristics of a smart battery, and they're selling it as a smart battery. Let's hope it turns out to be a smart battery. So we don't want any more problems with the batteries like we have with the Hubsan Zino currently. So let's go on to the actual Zino 2. Open her up. Nice and solid, no click. Back clicks into place. Front seems like it's got a different mechanism in it than the original Zino. Let's just give you a good look around on it. You'll notice the front plate here, it's just a dead plate, no sensors or anything. You'll notice we have nice ventilation for the ESCs and motors. That's nice to see. Plenty of ventilation here, which I imagine the exhaust fan is probably somewhere up in top here and ventilates the air out, probably 2 of these vents. So back to the front, and I'll take the gimbal cover off here in a minute. There's the side, and here's where your micro SD card goes, and I imagine your micro USB is behind here. Yes. So your micro USB and micro SD card are in there, and then you'll have a little light indicator showing probably when you're connected and recording and such. So, and the light sequence for when you're doing your firmware update. So that is that. Snap it all back into place. And then on the back, originally I thought in one of my first videos, I thought this was a light. It is not. Basically, it's just a Hubsan license plate. It is not a light at all. And then the top, we have a vent here, which you can see. And then one thing I noticed is that's pretty thin. I don't know if you can see the flex there. So you want to kind of be careful. Maybe if you're pressing the battery, you want to be careful if you're squeezing that top. Maybe hold it off to the side or hold it like this. Press your battery into place. Let's look at the sensors before we get into the battery. There's your optic flow and TOF sensor. Get a good view of that right there. And then the battery again, you just double press that. I'm not going to do it with my cover on. Don't want to go ahead and start messing up the gimbal now. But you've got a tab here and a tab here. These are your locking tabs. So what you're going to do is slide them down. And they actually click. I like that. They click and then pull off. So your battery kind of hinges. You can't just stick it in there. You have to put it in the bottom first. And then it hinges. This is where you want to be careful. And don't squeeze that top. You don't want to squeeze on that because that's kind of thin. It's not like the original. So that locks right into place. And you should hear the clicks. Hear it? So they lock into place, and again it pulls out like that. So I like that. And here's your QR code where you're going to find your serial number. Take a picture of that, scan it, take a picture of that, and keep a screenshot of that on your device. Because some parts you may need this. Customer service, with a warranty or anything, you're going to need to provide your serial number. So make sure before it wears out, you scan it and then keep a picture of it on your device. So that's the battery, and then now the gimbal. The most important thing I'm looking for is how the battery mounted, and then this gimbal cover with the gimbal. I'm not a big fan of the gimbal covers. We all have to have them, but I always fight them. And one of my friends who's already received his Zino 2 in Canada, Renee, he told me I'm not going to like the gimbal cover. So I'm going to find out. There's a tab here on the bottom. So it unhinges, comes off very nicely. But let's see how it goes back on. Let's straighten up the camera and see how hard it is. Yeah, it's wanting to fight a little bit. And it's fighting me. I'm not gimbal cover. There we go. I did it. So it's not too bad. That's something you want to pay attention to. You don't want to be putting these on and forcing it in place. It should go on nice and easy. When you go to snap it back in place, it should be like this. Make sure that front's in, and then it should just snap. Very simple. You shouldn't have to press or push. If you have to do that, you're putting too much pressure on the camera and the gimbal itself, and it's not lined up properly. So sorry, Renee, that wasn't too bad the first time. Maybe that was just first time luck, but so far so good. Here's the cover. It's a big cover. So let me take a first look at this camera first, and then we will talk about it. Wow. This feels like metal. It feels like alloy. It's got some good weight to it. Like it's not a cheap plastic at all. This is a pretty tough gimbal. I am impressed. I swear I don't think this is plastic. I think this is all like some sort of a lightweight metal. Very impressed. They went and put a decent quality camera on here, it looks like, guys. And the way that they've got it with the gimbal dampeners, they've got 2 in the back side, and then they've got 2 in the front top, plus the hanging dampeners. So this is very well supported. Take a look at this camera. I'm impressed. You guys know I don't get excited like over new products. I don't think I really get that excited on my channel, but I'm liking what I see here, and you know, I've been very honest when it comes to the Hubsan Zino, the original Hubsan Zino. I wasn't a fan. I called it like it was, and upset a lot of people, but if you go back to those videos, I was not wrong about that quad. And it wasn't until somewhere in the summer that I started supporting that quad and recommending it once it got the firmware that it needed. This one, off the build alone, I am impressed. We have the nice rounded corners. The plastic feels better. It's kind of got that almost that femmy feel to it. It doesn't look as cheap as the Hubsan Zino. No stickers up here on the shoulders. All nice and solid. I'm gonna have to learn how to take this one apart. Actually, right here. Take these plates off the bottom, and then it should come apart along with some other screws, which I'm sure I'll be doing eventually, but with the removable camera and gimbal on this one, it should be a lot easier to work on. So that stuff we'll do in upcoming videos, but I can see the screws for that. You just release the screws, probably it hinges out, and then you probably have to unplug it and it probably comes right out. Looks like it's hinged down on the bottom there. So far I'm liking what I see. Yeah, you got this bottom plate. Take that bottom plate off, take some screws out, and that camera probably comes right out. And just got to be aware of where the cable is before you do that, and unplug it. But this camera is impressive. Just the feel of it, and it's got a nice size lens, as we already know. But once you get yours and you actually put your fingers on this and feel the weight of this camera, you'll be pretty impressed, I think. It's definitely not a cheap piece of plastic. So that's really, really nice to see. No wires anywhere. So those dreaded wires that came undone in that magic reset button that did not exist, which was just plugging it back in, well, I don't think we're gonna have to worry about that here, fellas. So I'm liking what I see. I don't know what else really to point out on the quad itself. Just give you a good look at it, and let's power it on. Now that I have the gimbal cover off, and by doing so, you just press this twice. Same type of startup tone. There's your gimbal working. And I'm noticing the rear lights seem to be a lot brighter, and the front lights are actually a little dimmer because this part is much bigger. So it looks like we have less light in the front, more light in the rear. I don't know how that is going to affect you guys for line of sight flying, but not a whole lot of change there. But let me feel. Trying to. How about if we tilt it? Trying to put it into a gimbal lock. Oh, the fan just kicked in. Yeah, now it's totally in a gimbal lock. See if it snaps. Yep, snapped out of it. And works good. Hear the fan. And I can feel the air coming out the back and the sides. Definitely on this side. So it's probably pulling air in the top, blowing it out the back. I feel a little bit of something on the sides, I'm not sure. But we do have a fan, and it comes on actually with a basically like a thermostat. It's thermal. So it knows when it's heated up and it kicked on. Unlike the regular Zino and the Zino Pro, the minute you turn, I'm sorry, the Zino Pro, the minute you turn it on, that fan kicks on. This one's kicking on once we reach a certain temperature. So being in my house here, it's reached a temperature to where that fan needs to cool on, kick on and cool it. So that's it for the Zino 2. We'll look at the controller next. But I think we covered everything there. Again, everything is nicely vented. All the ESCs, the quad, the body of the quad is vented out the top. The props look to be the same as the Zino and the Zino Pro. So there's your look at it. She's big and bulky. And a little bit heavy. My arm's getting tired holding it here, but it should be interesting to see how well it flies. I think it's going to be good. Based on what I've seen so far from Hubsan and from the other people that have received one already, I'm pretty impressed. Here's also a micro USB I didn't show you. Let's go on to the controller. I'm going to turn this off so we don't heat up. And we're not going to bind or anything like that today. This is just a first look. Show you guys that I have it on my channel, and just go over my first thoughts and impressions on it, and then we'll get more into detailed and most importantly the flight itself. So the controller, the thing I like so far is we don't have that textured plastic. It's nice and smooth, and again it's got that kind of themey feel to it, and I really like the Fimi controller. I don't like this small toy grade type controller on the Zino and the Zino Pro, so hopefully this turns out to be good. And one thing I'm noticing on the back is it's ribbed for your pleasure. So when you hold it, it's kind of a grip, so it feels pretty good. And I like the antennas. They've done like DJI and others and made them so they snap together. If the Zino and the Zino Pro, they kind of overlap awkwardly, stick out. These are nice and closed, and then you'll notice they're bigger. So we have a larger antenna with this new transmission, this Lease 2.0, for farther range. And if you've watched my other videos, we started out with less range, but it was 6 kilometers, and now we're 8 kilometers. So I think that was a surprise to Hubsan that it went that far. And but on this battery, I would have said no, I doubt that that's possible, but they've showed it in video, and then hopefully someday I hope to do the same. I'm sure others will do it before me, but if you watch my channel, I do like to do some range tests, and that I will do with this guy here. So here's your opening, and then my device, just to show you, this is the largest iPhone. Turn my screen off there. This is the largest iPhone, the newest iPhone 11 Max, Pro Max. So just to show you, it fits with just a little, barely any room with the case on it. Siri, I'm not talking to you. So it barely fits in there. Turn off. With the case. So I don't know that you want to use the case anyhow with your cable, which actually with my case it works, so I don't have to worry about it on my case. And then you're going to actually have it in this way. I want to make sure we don't hit any buttons, because that's what I think I'm doing on my...
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Because
Could you please repeat it?
Because I wasn't talking to you, okay? Butt out.
I'm not sure I understand.
So it does hit the buttons. I don't like that. They've made the pads wider, and it's hitting the buttons on my phone. These pads, maybe it's because I have the sticks still in there, but this is where you store your sticks. So let's get those out, put my phone back in, and see if it hits. Man, those are tight. Just set those aside real quick for now. And that should probably take care of that problem. So let's put the phone back in. Yeah, that took care of it. So now none of the buttons are being pressed. So that's good. It holds it with my case, and I can plug in the wire, the cable, with my case as well. Some, not all cases you'll be able to, but with mine I can. So let's take that out. Let's go on to looking inside here. And there is no button or any pins or anything like that for the update. The update is done within the app. So your firmware update for the controller is done within the app. The quad itself is supposed to update within the app as well. But I don't think that is working yet, because Hubsan put out a video showing the firmware update process, and they did not do it through the app. They only did the controller part through the app. For the quad, they still plug that into the tool, and they did the firmware upgrade that way. So I'm going to just say, they haven't told me, I'm going to guess and say that right now that's probably still not working. Just like on the Zino Pro. We put our sticks, these are metal, screw them in place. Yes, feels good. There is a nice track here. It's not sloppy. When I go up and down on some good gimbals, I don't want to be going up and off to the side. I want to be able to stay in track and not have to focus as to my positioning. So these feel pretty good. A little snappy, maybe too much. We'll find out when we actually go to fly it. So other than that, we have a record button here. We have our picture frames here, and we have the FN button here, that FN button. That is a programmable button, and there will be more options as to what you can program that to do in updates to come. So right now, without doing it, I don't know. I do know that if you have your gimbal pointed down, one of the options would be to press that and your gimbal goes to the home position. It also may be for turning off the lights. That was one thing they said was a possibility. And then there will be other things in the future that they'll give you in the app. You'll be able to select a default function for this. So I'm sure they'll utilize every channel they absolutely can. Here's our power button, and then our auto takeoff and land, and then our speed modes, which is film, normal, and sport. So let's go ahead and turn it on. Maybe I didn't do it right. Give it a second. Yeah, it's not charged. It's fairly charged. So not until I bind to the quad will I really get to see anything on there. If I tilt it, you can catch a reflection as to all the different options that are on there. Through the reflection of my lights, you'll see them. But not until I'm connected to the quad will we see all that. And so when I go and bind to it and do the next video, we'll get more in depth with all that stuff. So again, this was just kind of a first look and introduction to my channel. I've actually taken a break from YouTube for about 2 weeks, so I wasn't really looking to do this video this soon because based on the way things were, I didn't expect to have it before the Chinese New Year. So I'm not going to dive right in and jump into a zillion videos, but hopefully do a flight video this weekend, which is 2 days away, and get that done for you guys. And button everything back up, and that's it. So thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you're new to my channel, this is your Zino channel right here, fellas. Come on. If you look at all my other videos, I think I've covered the Zino more than anybody. I work on a ton of them for members and subscribers, and I try to do all the how-tos and tutorials possible that I possibly can for this quad. So this is the Zino place to be on this channel right here. So if you want answers, or if you want to see me do something and you have requests or anything like that, subscribe to my button, hit that button and subscribe to my channel, and I will do my best to give you good content for the Zino 2 in the future. And that's it for now. So thank you for watching, and hit that thumbs up button on your way out, and we'll catch you on the next video. Take care.